If I were you,
me judging other people? Are you joking?
I would do a little.
Oh my God, Douglas, that's ridiculous. I'm not the one judging other people here. I'm just pointing out facts. I'm sorry I got your section wrong.
No, if I were you, I would do the tiniest bit of research before opening your mouth. You're embarrassing yourself. That's probably why people wouldn't want to come to your show.
All right, embarrassing yourself.
Gentlemen, you know what? I tell you who's really embarrassing.
I'm not a member of the queer sod. We are right, and you have to agree with us. They say we're here, and instead of saying we're here, we're queer, and just get used to it, it's we're here, and as a result, biological reality doesn't exist. Well, clearly, this very, very idiotic ideology is causing havoc. Just today, Piers, there's another tape from a school in Scotland where some poor boy is having to explain to his teacher that there's only two biological...
British author Douglas Murray stepped into the lion's den and didn't blink. Facing off against a panel of woke activists on live television, Murray dismantled their talking points with razor-sharp clarity. Every attempt at manufactured outrage collapsed under pressure as he sliced through the noise with calm precision. The activists were caught flat-footed, scrambling for answers as the atmosphere turned electric. No filters, no safe space, just raw debate at full intensity. This clash wasn't just tense, it was unforgettable.
I don't get this Sam Smith thing. It just seems like every week he deliberately... I'm sorry, even though there's only one of them. Why is Sam Smith they?
No, please do address Douglas first, but I just need to correct you if you're going to misgender. That's how they identify themselves.
Why is one person they?
Because that's how they identify.
Why have I got to go along with it?
Because they've asked you to.
So what? No one's asked me to.
Even the Pope respects people's pronouns now.
I don't have to respect anybody's pronouns.
Well, that's fine as long as that's your decision.
My pronoun is hottest man in the world.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to call you that.
Well, go on then.
Some may disagree, but if that's what you are, then cool, I will address you as the hottest man in the world.
Throughout the entire interview?
Throughout the entire...
Okay.
Here's how it unfolded. A comedian in a pink shirt demanded that Piers Morgan and Douglas Murray refer to singer Sam Smith using they, insisting it was mandatory because of personal identity. Piers shut it down immediately, arguing that a single person doesn't become plural by decree. The room tightened. And while the comedian doubled down, Murray sat back, quietly amused, waiting for the opening. You could tell what was coming. When Murray finally spoke, his response cut clean through the emotional theatre, exposing the demand for what it was, symbolism over sense. A clinic in composure and precision.
Let's come back to you. You don't have to call me the hottest man in the world, even if you're thinking it. Sam Smith, to me, he's just on an ever-deteriorating campaign to be as vulgar and offensive as he possibly can. Am I missing something?
He's doing what pop stars have done for decades, which is trying to shock as a means to get publicity. And of course, it's pretty successful. I mean, we're talking about him at the moment. But it's striking that it's sort of very unoriginal. I mean, all the stuff he's doing, the sort of over stuff, the sort of satanic stuff. Madonna did this 40 years ago. Pop stars have done this and more for decades now. I think the only thing that Sam Smith has got sort of going for him on this, and the thing that actually is making people notice him on this, is that first of all, he keeps sort of throwing these bollards in the way of everyone by changing his alleged gender.
Murray lays out a truth few are willing to say out loud. Woke culture thrives on self-interest. It's not primarily about justice or defending the vulnerable. It's about positioning. Going woke has become a form of social leverage, a way to gain status, attention, and opportunity. Murray points to Sam Smith as a prime example, arguing that adopting woke language wasn't a moral awakening but a strategic decision, one that paid off handsomely. In this framework, activism becomes transactional. Once you see it that way, the illusion of moral purity starts to crack.
He came out many years ago as gay, and then he said he was actually gender queer, and then he said he was non-binary, and he said he didn't know what it meant, but he said that they were going to he said that he thought that he was gender queer, and he didn't know what it meant, but he said that he would explain it someday when he did know. And I sort of think, if you're going to make everyone else distort the language, you should know what you're talking about first. So he does that to get publicity, obviously. And the other thing he does is he does this sort of taking all his clothes off stuff. And the thing that makes it different from other people is that when, Justin Timberlake or Rihanna or someone stripped down, they do so because they look good, like their bodies look good.
Douglas Murray doesn't sugarcoat his assessment. In his view, many woke activists aren't driven by principle but by personal ambition wrapped in moral language. He cuts straight through the slogans and exposes the incentives hiding underneath the outrage. When it comes to Sam Smith, Murray is direct. This wasn't about courage or conviction, it was about timing and advantage. Aligning with the cultural current brought rewards, and the move worked. Murray's critique strips away the performance and reveals a pattern where virtue becomes branding, not belief.
Well, there's a question.
Yeah, absolutely, I would have sex with Sam.
Really?
Thank you for
Well,
asking.
you're a braver
would you,
man
Douglas?
than me.
Because it sounds like you're a little bit too obsessed with them, if I'm honest with you.
No, I can assure you I'm not. I know what I like. Once again, if you act in a vulgar way, you should expect people to be vulgar about you,
I
probably.
think that's the point. If you're going to do what he does, it's a bit like Madonna. You know, when she says, stop objectifying me. What else are we supposed to do with Madonna? Given that all she ever does is demand we objectify.
You know what? You're both cis, white, straight men. You can carry on.
I'm not a
being-
cis anything.
Right. Shut
Honestly,
up.
I'm not.
Sorry?
Just carry on. I don't
Sorry,
even
what
know
did you
what
just
cis
say?
is.
Look, it's
What
sorry,
is
what
cis?
did-
it's
you
absolutely
just
fine
say?
if you just want to both be.
When I was
horrible.
born,
What did you
nobody
just
said
say?
I was a cis. What is a cis?
Hang on, I got to hear.
That's not what I'm here to
did
discuss,
you-
but what I am
what
here
did
to
you
tell you
just
is
say,
that you're
James?
completely out.
Apparently our
James,
skin colour is
so
now relevant.
I gotta
For
hear
God's
that.
sake. We're white men.
gotta hear
so
that.
You got your clicks.
What did-
So you're
you got
now
your
being
viral debate.
So you're now
What did
being
James
racist
just say?
and calling me a sissy or something.
Hang
Is that
on,
right?
Piers, wait a second. What did he just say?
What did you call us? Repeat it for Douglas.
Said you were both. I can't remember, to be honest with you.
cis,
Douglas.
white.
I think you said, okay, why don't you shut
Cis,
up for a
white,
moment?
straight, more
I think
white,
you
straight
said...
This moment perfectly reveals how the woke playbook works. It starts with speeches about tolerance and compassion until someone refuses to comply. Then the mask slips. The insults come out. Accusations fly. The man in pink confidently hurled racial assumptions at Piers Morgan and Douglas Murray, convinced he held the moral crown. But when Murray calmly asked him to repeat the claim, everything collapsed. Silence replaced swagger. This pattern repeats again and again. Moral certainty without substance, exposed the moment it's questioned.
I think you said we're both cis, white, straight men. First of all, I am white. Secondly, I am a man. Thirdly, I've been out and gay my entire adult life, which is about 25 years now. I don't know
shame
how old
on
you
you
are.
for
but
not
I was,
supporting
but I was,
the
I was
community,
out as
Douglas.
I was out as gay when you were still prancing around talking about whether or not you were. So do be quiet. Do stop judging other people. And if I were you, I'd do a
Me
little
judging
bit
other
of
people? Are
research.
you joking?
I would do a little.
Oh my God, Douglas,
I would do
that's
the
ridiculous.
tiniest- I
I'm
would
not the
do
one judging other
tiniest-
people here. I'm just pointing
I
out
would-
facts. I'm
if-
sorry I
if-
got your sexuality wrong.
No, if I were you, I would do the tiniest bit of research before opening.
Douglas Murray delivered a devastating counterpunch without raising his voice. The irony was undeniable. Activists obsessed with misgendering ended up doing it themselves. The man in pink incorrectly labeled Murray, who has been openly gay for years, revealing his own ignorance. Murray didn't lash out. Instead, he calmly pointed out the mistake and explained why it mattered. That response highlighted the deeper issue. Woke outrage often runs on assumptions, not facts. When emotion replaces knowledge, hypocrisy is inevitable, and Murray made that painfully clear.
Yourself, that's probably why people would
I
want
don't
to come
think
to
so.
your
I think
show.
you're embarrassing yourself.
Gentlemen, I tell you who's really embarrassing. I tell you
I'm
who's
not a member of the queer community.
the
What are
person
you
who
talking about,
ultimately is
the queer
genuinely
community?
embarrassing himself, herself, themselves, whatever.
The real embarrassment in this exchange wasn't Douglas Murray. It was the man in pink. He came armed with passion but no argument, volume but no logic. When asked to explain why one person must be referred to with plural language, he had nothing. No reasoning. No explanation. Just deflection, speed talking, and rising hostility. As pressure mounted, insults replaced ideas. Murray stayed composed, letting the weakness of the argument expose itself. The contrast couldn't have been clearer. One side grounded in reason, the other unraveling in real time.
Basically, everything has come unstuck in recent years by the ever-expanding alphabet acronym people.
By the end, the entire exchange revealed an uncomfortable reality. Woke ideology collapses when challenged with logic and consistency. What began as confident moral posturing quickly dissolved into contradictions and emotional outbursts. Douglas Murray didn't need to shout or shame anyone. He simply stayed anchored in reality. The man in pink, meanwhile, displayed the core flaw, confidence without understanding. This wasn't about kindness or inclusion. It was about enforcing conformity. And once stripped of buzzwords, there was nothing left standing.
say we're here, and instead of saying we're here, we're queer, and just get used to it, it's we're here, and as a result, biological reality doesn't exist. Well, clearly, this very, very idiotic ideology is causing havoc. Just today, Piers, there's another tape from a school in Scotland where some poor boy is having to explain to his teacher that there's only two biological...
As unsettling as it may be, more people are starting to recognize the pattern. Some educators have become so absorbed in ideology that they struggle to separate belief from fact. In an effort to appease the woke movement, critical thinking takes a backseat. Students aren't taught how to question, they're taught what to repeat. That's not education. That's indoctrination. When classrooms turn into activism hubs instead of places of learning, everyone loses, especially the kids. And that brings us to the end of today's video. If you found value here, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. See you next time.